It's a me. I've been playing. I just got back into Octopath Traveler 0 again.
Ooh, Octomam. Nice.
Octomam?
Sorry, it's a reference to Final Fantasy 4-2 on the SNES.
I've not played.
They couldn't spell out Octomammoth as the enemy name, so it was Octomam.
Octomam. I like it.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the JRPG Pursuit, your JRPG podcast for all things JRPGs. I'm Brandon.
I'm Abdallah.
And I'm Emily.
And we are all grown-up children, aren't we? We are just the most pathetic, weak-willed, weak-minded creatures to ever roam God's good earth. Because,
coming out strong.
You know why? We play video games. We play video games, so therefore we are losers.
As per the internet.
As per
the internet, yes.
Some corners of the internet, at least. So we wanted to take some time today and just kind of talk about the stigma around playing video games. Because, you know, it may not be exactly the same as it was in the past, but it is definitely still here. And it is one of the most befuddling things in our culture to me. So just to dive right in, growing up, how did you get, like, how was your experience being a game player in your younger years? Like, did you get pushback from it?
Who wants to start? Dala, do you want to start?
I guess I could jump in. Honestly, like, I think I was just like around people who also enjoyed it. Because like when I was a kid playing the NES, like the NES was like a phenomena. So like all the kids wanted to play NES. And so like at that era of gaming, it was less like stigmatized, maybe by adults more so.
Really?
Just in terms of like kids being addicted to it, and then like the way the news would talk about it and things like that. So like the media like frenzy around gaming in general, I think at the time was like both like
prevalent.
Like positive and good. Like it's like they're like, oh well, Nintendo's taking everything by storm, but at the same time it's like they're also taking everything by storm.
This is a cool thing to occupy your kids with. So you have to deal with them.
It's going to turn them all into video heads. They're going to be video heads.
Yeah.
Give them this little Game Boy. You know, they'll be preoccupied for so long and learn to read.
I know. And I think like most things in life, you don't really start dealing with like utter like negativity until you hit junior high. And so like junior high into high school and those kind of areas, that's when you start to get like,
a little bit more. I would say maybe late, sometimes grade school as well, but around that area.
That's true. Yeah, when you get like fifth grade, they're starting like they're almost basically.
They're turning to preteens, really. You know.
Yeah, exactly. Once you get into those like preteen, teenage years, then you start to get these like these people who are like perception of like what's cool and what's not, and people trying to chase the fads and things like that. What makes them a cool, you know, makes them
make
popular
them superior, right, to others.
Exactly. And most like anybody at the time who was into any sort of like, I wouldn't say counterculture, but like something that's not like very much centered across like popularity. So if you're into like, you know, D&D or, you know, fantasy or anything like, you know, at the time, like let's say anime back in the day, all those things had just stigmas that you were considered like a nerd or a geek or something like that along those lines. And so like, I think that carries on into junior high and high school. But for me, like, I feel like I was very good at like situationally like acting certain ways depending on who I was hanging out with. So I had friends who I'd play like video games with, or like I talked video games with, but then I also had friends who were like had nothing to do with that. And so like I would just never bring
don't mention it.
Yeah, exactly. And so like I just kind of like, I don't know if like people call it like being a chameleon of sorts. So like, you know, you're able to kind of adjust yourself to who you're hanging out with.
Kind of like code switching, where you kind of change aspects of how you present yourself. And
yeah, like you're masking different aspects of yourself depending on who you're dealing with at the time.
Right.
And so I think I was pretty good at that. So like I never really got into issues, and like I feel like it was still popular amongst at least the boys, especially like when you get into the PS1 era of things. If you're talking about like not GTA, I guess. PS1 era is more like, I don't know. What was popular then?
What was popular?
Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah. And Twisted Metal and all those things.
Twisted Metal. Yeah.
Yeah. Like there was a lot of like, and then it's just like that's when Madden started getting popular amongst kids, stuff like that.
Yeah, there were games that were cool, and there were games that were not cool.
Exactly.
I kind of had a similar experience. Like in the early days, elementary school, like it was just beautiful. I mean, video games were my life, and all of my friends either played them or like wished they could play them. You know, like would come over and play my Nintendo if they didn't, you know, have one at home. Mm-hmm. So it was like, it was a very welcoming and warm sort of thing. But I don't know if it was 4th or 5th grade was when, I don't know, it's the hormones get all going and everybody's brains get all messed up.
Yeah.
And suddenly it's like, this isn't cool. It's at least not cool to talk about it, right? Like, do I think that some of these guys that were, you know, mean about people playing video games, calling people nerds, whatever, do I think that they maybe went home and played video games that other people would find dorky? There's a very good chance some of them did, right? Like,
or
they just didn't talk about it.
They wish they could play them.
Yeah. And maybe they just didn't have a chance.
Maybe.
Lash out.
But yeah, like it did kind of shift as you get into puberty, and that's when there's that bright line that separates cool games from dorky games. So like Madden, the aforementioned Madden, you can play that and be cool, right? Because that's sports. Yeah. You can play sports.
First-person shooter games, I'm sure.
First-person like fighting games, like
as they emerged. When I was in those grades, there wasn't really.
Yeah, it was until like GoldenEye, maybe, when people started thinking.
GoldenEye is that became a popular one.
That was a phenomenon at the time
to play.
Yeah,
but yeah, there was that window of time, like early junior high into the beginning of high school, for me at least, where it was like, this is evidence. This is further evidence. Besides my haircut, video games were the surest sign that I was a dork.
Did you wear a pocket protector?
I did not. I never really understood the purpose of them. I'm not worried about my
pocket. They're there to protect your pockets.
Yeah, you don't have ink just spilling everywhere.
It's in the name.
I mean, I never saw that pocket as a place to put a pen. I don't know. I was like, I don't know why this is here.
Nerddom.
This pocket feels like a vestigial limb. Like, what is this pocket here for? It never occurred to me. Like, put a pen in there.
You gotta have a pen handy.
Anything. For your imagination.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a dorky thing to do. And a waste of time. That's just from this fellow students side thing, right? Yeah. From the parents side, it was a whole different thing. Even in the earlier days, it's like, you've played enough of this, go do something else. Eventually turning into, it's bad that you play these things, they're bad for you, right? And I mean, that's not true. Like, they're not bad for you. They're, like anything, you can be too obsessed with something, of course, but as just in general, they're not bad for you. But parents, they were not involved in it. It was something that they sort of observed from the outside. So they saw it as a negative thing, as a time waster. And,
And, like, I think new emerging things, people are always wary of them more than embracing them. And so the whole stigma of like, oh, they're just rotting their brains out, because they heard so-and-so say down the block, their kid never went to college or got into college because they wasted their time playing video games or, all that. Or they're not studying. Like, I don't visibly see them actually studying because they're just sitting in front of this TV set doing this rather than doing what I think they should be doing, or, socializing with friends outside or doing sports. That's healthy, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But I think it's all about balance, and I think that wasn't really recognized necessarily. Even now, I feel like that's still a problem, especially with those less attuned to like where does video games fit into someone's like hobbies and schedule?
Yeah. There's, and then as you get older, like you said, fitting it in, it even on a personal level, it can at times feel like, wow, I'm playing this game. I could be doing something valuable with my time. Yeah. And you can feel a certain level of guilt about that especially with the games that we play, right? Like we play a lot of long
games,
JRPGs that we spend. Like if you look at the time counter, as I've gotten older, I've started thinking of the time counter in video games differently, and I kind of wish it would go away because I don't like looking at, like, for example, Trails Beyond the Horizon and be like, oh, that's almost 3 days of my life. Like I enjoyed the time I spent with it. It's not like I'm like, oh, I wasted 3 days, but I'm like, wow, that's 3 days of my life that I recorded here.
What they should do on Netflix, when you're watching all these seasons, tell you how many days of your life was it that you spent on this TV show.
That maybe that would give people
some more balanced perspective.
Yeah, but
it
it can make you feel at times, at least for me, I can only speak for myself, but like can make me feel at times like, oh man, like I need to do something else. I should be earning money right now. Why am I not earning money right now?
The hustle culture, I think it's been so bad recently.
Yeah.
Like the last few years where people feel like they have to not have fun. They have to just make money.
Yeah.
This is especially, I think, in the US right now. I don't know about other countries, but it does seem like hustle culture has kind of been on the forefront. I think since the pandemic, really.
I mean, I feel like that's always been U.S. culture. I mean, outside of like, you look at Asia, like Asia's a whole different culture for like how they deal with work and how much stuff they need to do. Cause like, it's very unhealthy there too. But from an American culture, like if the rest of the world outside of Asia looks at us, like from a European standpoint to like, South American or whatever it is, they always look at us as like, we live to work rather than we work to live. Across Europe, across them, they're always taking vacations. They take time off during the middle of the day. They do lots of things just to make sure that there's a good balance of like living your life along with the working aspect. And they're not just like so hell bent on like, I need to make the most money ever right now, like forever. Like that's like,
these are my golden earning years.
Exactly.
Gotta lock in.
Yeah, and so
lock in. Yep.
Lock in.
Lock in.
That's quite the key phrase.
Yeah.
It's so the stigma back in the olden times, right, was like this is a waste of your brain. You're rotting your brains, and or you're a dork. You're a nerd.
So
it has shifted though.
Yeah, but I will say your guys' perspective is a little bit different than I would say mine was. Like I'm a little bit younger and also I guess a girl. So it was a little bit different of how video games were received when I was growing up. But I think I also had the benefit that my dad was really into gaming. He like not super hardcore. He would just like play some games on his computer every now and then that he would like order from a catalog. Like I think he told me like the first one he wanted to try was like Larry or something. I was like, the big like that's something he would read like in the newspaper. Larry. People would write up about these. You could order games in the mail. Just
picture him, daughter of mine. I have a brand new game I really want to try, and that is
I don't think he told me at the time. Like I would have been 5. I don't know.
Yeah.
You
wouldn't have gotten the jokes in Leisure Suit Larry. You just would not. It would have gone right over your head. Unfortunately,
I never actually saw him playing this. I just know that he ordered that. I think he tried Myst too, and then he got really into shooting games, like first-person shooting games. That was kind of his bread and butter for a long time there, like playing Battlefield.
And he's still into it.
He is
to this day.
He does, though he's widened his sphere. He plays Fortnite, which is third person and survival, kind of stuff. It's a little bit different, but he loves that aspect about those games. But anyways, I had that growing up. Also, my brother was really into games too. So it wasn't weird. Like my mom would look at us and be like, you're kind of wasting your time. Like she would make sure, when we got home, first thing we would do is work on homework. Like that was in my household. You have a snack, work on homework, finish it, and then you could do stuff for fun later. And when I was involved in a lot of sports and things like that, I had to work out my schedule so that homework was priority, and then I have fun. So I feel like I was taught to balance it well. And we also, growing up, we didn't have a ton of consoles, and my brother and I had to share a lot of things. So
that's true.
I had to, work on communication skills of how to, work with my brother. Like, how do we prioritize our time so that we both are having fun? Also, that we suggest the games we both want to get, that kind of thing. Yeah. And then when we go on like road trip, we did a lot of traveling when I was a kid. So I was in the car all the time, especially very young. And just, I think my parents liked, the whole Game Boy Colors, especially, so that we were occupied. We weren't, loud, annoying. They could do whatever. They went to all these like galleries or thrifting and stuff. We were patiently just, absorbed in our game. So I feel like from that standpoint, gaming wasn't that weird when I was growing up. It wasn't until I started going to school, like I didn't hear other people talking about games. Like even at the height of Pokemon, people were talking about Pokemon cards. They were not talking about the Pokemon games, I noticed. So there was very few like people in my own inner circle of like friends that I knew games. So I would talk about games with them. Everyone else though, we would talk about other things. But in my inner circle of friends, they would usually just play certain types of games. Like even if they had siblings and things, like they were into The Sims or they liked, some of the DS games or something like that. Like, so it was sometimes hard to communicate, with different types of people and, their genres of games. And there wasn't just a collective, we like games. We think the same,
Yeah.
I don't know. It was very interesting. And definitely like through high school, no one talked about games except I would hear some of the guys talk about, like Halo or something. They would be really into those type of games. And then that was also when World of Warcraft became more popular. But those were usually the weirdos playing that. And I would play it too secretly. I don't think I told anyone that I played WoW other than like my brother. And I wasn't really into it. Like I would do it solo. Like I wasn't actually like in a guild or anything. But most of the games, especially when I was older, I would just play it on my own because I enjoyed it. I would talk about it maybe a little bit with my brother and my dad. But I didn't really have in my inner circle of friends who were into gaming because they had other interests. Like even if they like grew up in a household that had games or they had siblings who played games, like that wasn't their primary interest when I go over to their houses,
Yeah.
So anyways, that's kind of like my perspective. I don't know how relatable that is to other female perspectives, especially growing up in the, early 90s, early 2000s. But that was my perspective.
Yeah. I've always been curious about it because, I am 100% positive that I knew plenty of girls growing up who played video games, but I never knew that they did. You know what I mean? I didn't ever hear about it.
Or that they watched anime, right?
Right.
I'm sure a lot of people didn't know I watched anime. Like I watched a lot of it on Toonami and stuff.
Oh yeah.
I'm positive that I knew plenty of girls that did those kind of quote unquote nerdy things, but I just never heard about it. Right. So
Usually,
I feel like
I didn't have a lot of, like male friends that I could talk about hobbies with. Usually it was very surface level things I would talk about with male friends. We wouldn't go over to each other's houses and then see like what hobbies we like and things like that.
Right.
So that might have been also just that barrier of not wanting to expose yourself of your hobbies to other people.
Yeah. And I also feel like that's a big part of why there was like, and still is, such a pushback on like women in gaming. It's because I think guys growing up in like my age demographic and younger didn't think that there were women or girls that played games, and it was just like, you guys are fakers, you're coming in now because it's popular. It's like, no, I think they always liked it. It's just they didn't talk about it. I
think another part of it is they see people making money off of games. They're like, oh, you're only in it for the money or something, or the attention. I hear that a lot. That's not why.
Especially if you're like a girl content creator, like within the gaming sphere. It's like,
I love that gross attention that I get as a female content creator. That's my favorite.
I've also just been accused of being like I have like, this is not my collection I'm showing behind me. Like this is someone else's. I'm just a prop here because I would get clicks because of that. It's
so you are. Oh, I see. So you're like
the
mascot of the secret, like overlord of the channel is like hired you as the mascot for the. I see.
So when you're streaming for like 8 hours of the day, you are just like hijacking someone's.
No, she's not really playing. The mastermind is playing off camera.
Oh, she's just
pretending to react. Obviously,
I'm just reacting. I'm a paid actress, girl.
I should have known.
Sorry to tell you this way.
Known.
I'm a paid actress.
Oh.
Yeah,
it's just so weird.
Dropping bombs
some like
on everybody.
Loopholes. People try to make it so it makes sense in their brain, but when it's not really the thing that they're looking at that doesn't make sense, it's them who's not making sense and forming those connections.
It's usually a simple. The answer is usually the simplest and most straightforward.
Occam's
and the
razor,
answer
man.
is, yeah, it's like they like it. That's why they do it.
Yeah.
They
it's
enjoy
very
it.
simple.
but yeah, so it's that's interesting. That's an interesting aspect of it. The like female gamers' perspective on it from that era.
Just one. Like I don't think I'm the only
sure
case.
not the there's multiple percentages, right? But
there's
like having that perspective,
And if you're watching this and you do want to share it, feel free. Drop
us a comment. Tell us your experience.
Your experience
with it growing up.
Because it's great to kind of understand and have empathy towards everyone's.
Because we didn't know, like there's all this, like we were so blind, like we had our blinders on a little bit about how things were back in the day and not hearing how everyone's experiences were to form a better picture, a more cohesive picture, if you will.
Like looking back at it, like I was pretty lucky. Like in 8th grade, I made friends with this close knit group of like 3 or 4 people. And they happened to really enjoy JRPGs. And so like from 8th grade till the end of college or to the end of high school, and then maybe like a little bit after that, I would keep in contact. And even to this day, one of them being Rohan, if you guys remember him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So like we were always hanging out and playing. That's how I got into like, a lot of random JRPGs on the PS1 era. So like they borrow games from them or try different things. And we always would talk about it or like sleepovers and do like play games all night and stuff like that. So like I had like a really close knit of people that I would play with. And so I'd be able to get my like, just release that like gaming tension out when I'm with them. Yeah. And then like outside of that, I was just like, doing other things.
That's cool. I feel like whenever I connected with someone who was into gaming, usually they're into like a specific game. Like they would do a racing game, which is fine. Yes. Like they would invite me over to do like kart racing. I'm like, I guess I'll play it. But I never, or like, I knew I had another friend, high school. I was surprised. Like I was blindsided that they were into games, but we were playing, I think a Call of Duty game. I was like, okay, we could do this. Oh, yeah. And I was just surprised she would play games. Like she never admitted it to me until, I think we were senior year in high school or something. But I never really connected with anyone, I think, growing up who were into story-based games like JRPGs. Like they would maybe play Pokemon or, like I would sometimes talk about Kingdom Hearts to some of them. Like, oh yeah, I played that like when I was really young. And then they're into these other types of games. Like that's cool. I'm just a little sad we can't connect right now with cool JRPGs. And have that.
JRPGs is like a weird, like even a further stigma within within gaming itself.
The niche within the niche of
gaming, right? But also, remember when like on Twitter, like we saw that trend going around where people say 10 games to know me. Like I would say every single person I saw, even if they aren't into JRPGs, they would have a JRPG in there. So I feel like JRPGs, we like to say they're niche, but I really don't think they're that niche.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
Not in the past. I think everyone's always played one.
Back in the 90s, though, it was just such a different world. Like,
True. Like localization.
The kinds of games that we were into, that I was into, like, I really didn't play much else. I play like I played Mario, sure, played the Mario games, Zelda, and whatnot. But otherwise, it was pretty much just JRPGs. So like finding people who also liked those kinds of games it felt next to impossible. Like I had a friend who played like Western style, like not RPGs, but what type of game is StarCraft?
It's a strategy, like
real-time strategy or what? Yeah. Like they would play those kinds of games. And I was like, well, I don't particularly care for that, but like it's close enough, I feel like I can
or like Dota or something. It's close.
Can have a bond here. It's close enough.
That's true.
My high school girlfriend, her brother was into JRPGs. So we hung out and would do that together, talk about that a little bit. He was very strange to this day. He's just very strange, man. So we weren't like
doesn't help with that stigma,
close. Huh? Wasn't he's not fighting the stigma.
No.
So I had like that one person for a while that I could kind of talk about the stuff with. Yeah.
Do you guys think like parallels with other media, people are more open to longer narratives? Like if you look at the history of TV, I feel like leading less episodic like we used to in the past and more into like narrative arcs with seasons. Even like movies, we're having all these big blockbusters, multiple parts. Also in novels, I feel like there's a lot more long running series than one-off novels that were really popular.
Nowadays.
So I have a feeling that's might be why JRPGs are more popular more than ever, because we're more into, I think, as a society, narratives in our media consumption.
Yeah, that's a good theory. I like that. I definitely think it feels true, right? It feels very likely. I know, like for my wife Jen, she does not like. She would like to play some of the games that I play. I think just to experience them and have something, to be able to talk about them with me. And she knows how much I love them. I think she would like to try them. And she's like, how long is this game? And I'm like, 50, 60 hours. She's like, oh, no. Talk to me when it's like 5 hours.
Yeah.
But like, doesn't she also like run long running TV series?
She does. That was what I was getting. That's what I was getting at. Is like, I think for her, and I don't know how exemplary, like how much of an example she would be for the population at large, but like she likes long form in certain things and video games. I mean, I think part of it is just she didn't play a ton of video games growing up. Like she had an N64 and she had I think she might have only had an N64.
But I also think that's like telling to like the stigma against gaming, because like there's not a huge stigma. Like if you're like, I binged all of Stranger Things over like the weekend or something like that. So like
or The Office,
something like The Office or something like that. People are just like,
I watched The Office for the 15th time.
Yeah,
I watched
like,
Friends,
exactly.
however many times.
Like I rewatched all of The Office for like the 16th time, and people will like commend you for it, and they're just like, man, that's awesome.
You're really into that. That's so cool.
Yeah, like you love it. And then if you said like, hey, I spent like 60 hours of the weekend.
Yeah, this game took me 60 hours. Like, are you sick?
Are you okay?
Are you sick?
Are you
like? That's gonna rot your brain, or like that's just not healthy for you. Like
I'm calling the police. I'm having your children taken away. You can't do that.
Why are you getting sucked so into this world? There's so much other stuff you could do with your time. Exactly. Regardless of how much maybe you watch TV or doom scroll on social media or
exactly.
Yeah, that's what you need to do for your,
I know a lot of people
health. Doom scroll a little more.
I know so many people like even like right now who are like the same way. They're like, when they think of gaming, they're like, well, that's like way too much. You're spending too much time, or you're doing all these things.
I have no time for gaming. I hear that sentiment even among gamers. I have no time for gaming, but while they are on social media typing this out, which I have to guess they're also probably doom scrolling.
Yeah.
It's like, I think it's the product of this age of where we're at with technology is like the brain rot is real when it comes down to like doom scrolling, and
it's not video game brain rot.
Exactly. It's not video game brain rot. It is like even worse. Like there's some things that you just get cycled into.
Really dark mindset and perception of the world too. Like you're hearing this little echo chamber online. You think that's reality when it's really not.
No, it's exactly. So far removed.
So
it creates like a lot of like social media has been kind of like the downfall of society, unfortunately, just because like it's created these like very loud minorities that are thinking about like very negative things, and it's just become
and just doing a blame game. Honestly, that's
it's like a lot of blame game, and then at the same time, it's like unreal expectations towards life when it comes down to like people who get really into like influencers and things like that. When they're like my life needs to be this way. If it's not that way, then I'm going to be depressed or something. But like things, like,
too much comparison of fake stuff.
Exactly.
Emphasis on fake stuff.
Yeah, like these are like influencers out there who are creating fake lives to influence.
This has always been an issue in media, like from films and TV, of like what so-called life should look like that people are observing, even in books, like having those unrealistic expectations. But I think it's just become a lot worse with social media, and everyone is consuming it and regurgitating things all at once.
Yeah, and so like it's funny when there's all of this, and then you have gaming be like, this is the end all be all, like,
and you see
brain rot.
Yeah, you see like people mention how like women think that that's like the least attractive feature in a man is that they play video games.
Oh yeah,
I don't know how real those are, that so-called survey that keeps circulating. I feel it's not the realist, but there's still plenty of probably females who don't play video games, very stigmatized towards it as well. Men too.
I feel like that exists, but
absolutely. Like
on both sides of the
I think, there's a certain type of relationship, and maybe this is just a product of like social, like of television and movies, but like there's a certain type of relationship that I can imagine where the guy is wearing a backwards baseball cap and smoking a cigar and drinking, a tall boy of Miller Lite and playing, Halo or whatever for 8 hours straight.
And his just girlfriend having the dirtiest mouth. Yeah.
Yeah. And, yelling with his friends and saying all sorts of like slurs and whatnot. Things. And then his girlfriend in the other room, like, what is going on? Like, that trope, right? And
it has to happen. I'm sure that happens.
There are people that are like that, but I can't imagine that it's, I don't know.
It's not the majority, man.
It's not the majority. It's not the way it really is. Yeah. It's interesting though that like the way the stigma has shifted as time has gone on, like, starting, back in the 90s, it was the way we talked about that already, kind of moving into the Jack Thompson era where it was video games are violence. Dangerous now, right? Yeah. Like they're actually going to cause you harm. Mm-hmm. And even though
mental stunts.
Yeah. Like we've basically moved out of that to a certain extent, but there is some of that I think that remains.
Yes. And then we moved into, I think when MMOs became popular, when we started hearing reports about shut-ins who would not bathe themselves, not eat well, they just like picture, like a lot of people just pictured gaming or the typical gamer as someone who's smelly. And there's like cons too. There's still that stigma as well.
There is that stigma. I remember the first time I went to Anime Central I was in college. I went to Anime Central with some friends and they were handing out like these flyers reminding people to bathe. And I'm like,
put deodorant on. Yeah.
I'm like, what? Like, of course. What are you talking about? Oh, okay. A lot of these people are very smelly. I get it. Okay.
Yes. Unfortunately, there is a correlation between the two.
So there was definitely a period of time where the subculture of gamers wasn't really doing itself any favors as far as like removing the stigma, right? No. It's kind of like we were leaning into the stigma a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it was also like
that South Park episode for WoW too. That guy. Yeah. That's yeah.
Emily, give me your best Cartman impression.
Oh, I can't do it. Don't put me on the spot, please.
I just wanted to lob that up there in case, but I don't know. Maybe you had like some amazing.
I don't have anything on the top of my mind. Maybe I'll save it for the after show.
All right.
You heard her. After show. Emily's going to do a Cartman impression. We'll see how that goes. I'm excited.
But yeah, like it's one of the things, like as the stigma has evolved, one of the questions I've always had is, do certain people, especially older people, like older than me, say like a generation up from me, do they still think video games are like Atari? And I don't mean to disparage Atari. I know a lot of people had a lot of fun with the Atari, but they were very simple experiences, right? Yeah. Even the most complicated Atari game is like Pong. Child's play to somebody playing a game today. So when they're shocked to hear that you spent 60, 70, 80 hours on a game, are they thinking that your level of involvement is like a Pong level of involvement?
I don't think so.
Or do they understand that they're more complicated?
I think there's a lot of media that depicts what video games look like the virtual world. I think they think of it like you are an avatar and you are basically like, instead of living real life, you're living as an avatar. I think that's what a lot of people think about now, which is more the MMO sort of wheelhouse. And they see the graphics, like, does it look like it's better to live in the virtual world than reality? Like, all those kind of sci-fi sort of media and movies. So I think that's what they picture when people think about games, or they know someone who like plays, first person shooters and just yells at the screen. Yeah.
They're just picturing PlayStation Home. And you know what? Even gamers didn't want anything to do with PlayStation Home.
But honestly, to that generation, everything is a Nintendo. So
Yeah, my mom calls everything a Nintendo. No, actually, she calls everything a Game Boy. She doesn't call it anything else. Like, are you going to play your Game Boy? I'm like, what? My Switch? Or my 3DS? She called everything a Game Boy.
Game Boy,
Nintendo didn't register to her. It was Game Boy.
Game Boy.
Unlike other moms of that era.
I mean, it's
but then you have people like my dad
tongue,
who plays games too. So
yeah,
that's true. Yeah.
My dad doesn't know all the different systems because he's always just played PC games. He can't really hold a controller easily. He's like dupergens, so it's
I think like
that would
controllers
really hurt. But and controllers are just weird. If you never played on a controller before, if you're used to a keyboard and mouse, that's just what you're going to stick with. You know,
just in general, a controller is not intuitive. It's not
ergonomic usually. Like it's
not ergonomic, and it's not like it doesn't pass the like usability test where it's like you can look at a thing and know how to use it just by looking at it. Like it's not that intuitive. And that was kind of what Nintendo was trying to do with the Wii was, you know, kind of at the tail end of that stigma was like, hey, let's further remove the stigma by making this something that looks like something you already know how to use, a TV remote, and you can just kind of move it around like you feel like you should be able to do anyway. So I do think that the Wii probably did help, even though it wasn't the most hardcore gamer console ever made, obviously. I think it did help to shake off some of that.
We are here.
It's remarkable how much that sold. Every house held a Wii except mine.
Yeah. I mean, it was a phenomenon at the time.
It was a phenomenon. And I think definitely pushed more of a positive light towards gaming as a fun, family friendly sort of activity.
Yeah, because before, no one ever thought of it that way. It wasn't like a big multiplayer family
you just play by
experience.
yourself.
Nintendo 64 was closer, but it was more for friends. Just because that controller was not something that would probably be
that was a funky looking controller,
grown-ups to play at the time. Because I am a grown-up at this point, so I can't say that. But looking back at it, ever since we went from 2D to 3D, I think using a controller and things like that are harder for people who have not played games, because there's a sense of hand-eye coordination that comes in with the 3D space of how to move yourself in that 3D space. If someone has never played a 3D game and they're coming from let's say Mario or something like that, it's not as easy to jump in.
You have to rewire your brain a little bit. I'm trying to remember when I was a kid and I held a PS2 controller for the first time, because I never had a controller before that. I want to say it was easy, but I was a kid. You're very adaptable as a kid.
Yeah, you're very malleable brain. I want to recommend a podcast to people to check out, other than ours, obviously. There's a show called 99% Invisible. It's like a design podcast where they talk about just the world of design. And it's my wife's obsessed with it. I like it quite a bit too, but I don't listen to it as much as she does. But they did a spin-off series, a short-lived, it was 6 or 7 episodes called Hidden Levels. And it was about video games and the design of games and how that has woven its way into our modern world society. And the whole thing is really interesting to listen to. But there was one episode in particular in that mini series about controllers and the intuitiveness of them, or lack thereof in most cases. Very interesting. Okay. Just wanted to throw that out there since we were talking about that.
Good recommendation there.
Yeah, cool. That's cool. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
Myself as well.
You should.
I will.
You better. I'm coming over now.
Well, now I don't feel like doing it.
You gotta blast it in his speakers.
Now I don't want to do it because you're making it.
Now you're pressuring me.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just never going to do it now.
Anyway,
and that kind of goes into all right, so the most recent, there was a tweet that was going around the last so many days. I think Emily quoted it and I quoted it as well.
The rage baiter,
yeah, basically. But I've seen this kind of sentiment exactly come up a lot on social media, or just people talk about that from this perspective, is saying hey, I regret playing so many video games as a kid or younger years, or around whatever.
In their 27 years
in their 20s. Yeah, exactly. They're 27 years old and they're they need to think about okay, well, I've wasted all my years and I should have walked in.
My youthful years, because it's so much harder after that.
I know. And like it's like there's that like aspect of like, all right, like yeah, you played video games, but I mean, I'm sure you also did other things as well, much like any other person. Like some people watch movie, I like to watch movies and then also do other things as well. So like there's like less of a stigma where like, like we were talking about with like watching a TV show for an extended period of time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he didn't say like, I wish I didn't watch Parks and Recs, The Office, all these like 9-season like shows that like take you weeks to finish.
Mm-hmm.
And I should have not done that. It's more of like, I shouldn't play these games. So like it's very specific to that.
Mm-hmm.
I think they mentioned board games, not just video games. Like,
yeah,
they were very targeted what type of hobbies. It was anime, video games, and D&D. Targeting those
D&D
specific
had
demographics, which are not the worst hobbies to have.
Yeah.
No,
D&D
and you're
had an
right. I mean,
especially hard time.
it was definitely rage bait, but it does raise an interesting question, right? That we're talking about right now. And I don't know, like you're saying, Dala, what's the alternative? Like you give up video games and board games and role playing
Everything.
or whatever.
Like any hobby for that matter.
Do what? Exactly. You know what I mean? Like if you live a less joyful life, I guess. Good
I feel like
for
when
you.
they say
I don't know,
locked
like,
in, it's like we were talking
Make
about
money.
like, make money.
Yeah,
like,
making money.
Get into the work, like just
Invest in yourself.
dedicate your whole life to
but I guess my question for those people is like, to
What's the
what
outcome?
end? To what
I
end?
think that is something that a lot of people don't answer whenever they're working, right? Or when they're trying to save up for retirement or something. Like, what's the purpose of money? Like, is money in exchange for time? Is it exchange for safety? Like, what is money for? And I think we could do this same thing with hobbies. Like, what is the purpose for hobbies? Is this, something to let off steam after a hard day's work? Do we have unimaginable joy? That's why we enjoy doing it. Like, I think there's a lot of things that people, they sometimes need to reflect, step back. Like, why am I doing this? Is this adding something positive to my life? Even if it doesn't sound like the most efficient life, an efficient life does not necessarily mean it's a happy life,
Right.
Yeah. What is efficiency though?
Exactly. Like efficiency
I feel
for
like
what?
that's
To
very
make the most
subjective.
money, to use up the most hours of your day and then go to sleep and then recharge and do it again.
And do it again. Yeah.
I only drink Soylent Green because I don't want to waste time chewing or doing anything else.
Yeah, right.
That's like the life I want to live. I don't want to waste a moment's time doing the most menial tasks like existing. I just gotta have to work.
It's a strangely, to me, it feels like a strangely joyless existence.
Yeah.
Where, and not to say that you have to play video games, right?
No,
Just
no,
like
no.
you have
It's
to
like
do
anything.
things that bring
Find
you
a hobby, please.
happiness.
Yes.
Whether it's
everyone should have some sort of hobby.
exercise or
Yes.
reading, there's so many things that you should do. Like, we're not put on this earth just to make money and
Right.
survive, right? We
Yeah.
still can have fun. It's all
Exactly.
about moderation, though. Like, I think the balance is the key thing to any sort of these types of conversations.
Like, yeah, because like I find it like if you're in this society in your own life, like as long as you're like taking care of yourself and you're not like falling into an area where you're like you don't have enough money to survive and you can't do this if you can't
You're
do these other
prioritizing
things.
important things, but
Yeah.
also using up your time in something that
Exactly.
you still find joy in things.
Exactly. It's like this interesting, just balance at the end of the day.
Like, you hear a lot about retiree folks and how they don't live that long after they retire, even if they've accumulated millions of dollars.
Yep.
If they have nothing that they find joy after they retire, because if their life was just devoted to work,
Yeah.
they have no purpose to live. And it's really sad when that
Yes.
happens.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
very sad. That I actually saw a lot of, especially in Japan when I was there, a lot of the older men who retired that I would talk to sometimes would be like, I don't know what to do with myself because that culture is very much like you dedicated your life to the job. Like that's all
The
you
same
did.
job too, right?
Often,
Like,
yeah.
you don't,
to
you don't have
the
around jobs.
company. Yeah.
Exactly. So
company.
when they retired, that's it. Like it was like they would just like look around themselves and be like, what do I do with myself now? Because like they never had anything, no hobbies outside of that because it was just consuming them.
If they decide not to, have that balance.
Exactly.
thinking about the reason these things bring joy, like, one great aspect of having a hobby like ours, or like many hobbies, is like the community that you can build up around yourself with that hobby. And I think sometimes, like, I didn't start to develop this community around myself until I was like in my late 30s. How much cooler would it have been if I didn't fear the stigma of video games and the other interests like anime, whatever, like nerdy stuff back in the day? Like, if I didn't fear that stigma and just was authentically me all the time and found people that were also like that and was able to have that community sooner. So, like, I don't, this isn't about regrets. I'm not saying that, like, I lay awake at night regretting my choices, but it's like, it just it feels to me like a call to action where it's like, don't just be yourself and enjoy the things you enjoy. And
surround
you will find other
by great people.
Yeah, you will find other people. If you put yourself out there, you will find other people that want to experience those things with you.
Yeah.
So do it,
Exactly. I think that's where the biggest regret people find. Like, you've never seen somebody like on their deathbed regretting, like, or just like saying like, I wish I
should have made more money.
More. Yeah. I wish I wish I would have worked every single day of my life and not, it's just things like that. And like, also like, you regret trying to make yourself be like with what's popular, basically, or doing things against like what you naturally do like when you're forcing yourself to like things because other people like it, or you don't want to be considered someone who's like, I don't know, lame or a geek or whatever it is you want to call it. That's where you regret, like later on in life, you're like, man, I wish I would have just been like myself the whole time. Yeah,
I think so. Like, and there's always, when we talk about community, like you have, your local community, like in outside of online. You also have an online community. And I think what's one of the issues, I think, now that we are living more online, is people are really seeking the online community as their safe harbor. And unfortunately, that's, I think, not necessarily where you should have all your, eggs in one basket when it comes to a sensing of community and also family.
Right.
So that's why I think we've been hearing a lot of toxicity within fandoms in particular that can also create a lot of just negative energy around a hobby we enjoy. Like if you're just offline, you wouldn't have to deal with that, like it's a hard balance. I think that this day and age we've had to deal with that. We didn't have to deal with when we were kids, because I don't know about you guys. I didn't have an online community I was a part of.
No,
as a kid.
I did not know that you could use the internet to
communicate with people
really.
like that.
Did not really
like I had
occur
AIM.
to me.
That was about it. But I just talked to people I kind of knew on AIM.
Other than talking to weirdos on AOL chat rooms, like not much. I'm just kidding.
I didn't even do that. I don't think I used AOL until college.
No, I think I was like, I was in a lot of forums back in the day, like in the
I would lurk.
even in the late.
I was a big lurker on the internet.
2000s.
Yeah, it wasn't until like I was in grad school I actually was like, okay, I want to be part of this community online. I was always lurking.
Yeah.
I never knew what forums were. I don't think I ever like dug into it to really understand them. Yeah. Maybe I would have enjoyed it, but like, I never tried. Like I said, I didn't even like really have online relationships with people until 3 years ago. Like it was not recent. A part of my life at all. Like I was online, like, I would be on Twitter. I would, be on the internet, but I just didn't participate in that way. But like you're saying, I think what you brought up, Emily, is good to talk about with this topic in particular, because the kind of gatekeeping and toxic fandoms that we deal with, particularly in the JRPG side of things,
it's the other spectrum, right?
It's creating a new stigma around the kinds of games that we enjoy, that I think is really unfortunate and like kind of an own goal situation. Like we don't need to be doing this to ourselves.
That's the weird part. Cause like, all our lives we've been, you have to deal with it from like the outside looking in. And now we're just doing it to ourselves, like within our own niche or within our own like area of gaming. We're just making each other feel bad about it. And like, do we need extra negativity there? Do we need to be the same way? Like, why are we doing this? It doesn't need to happen. We shouldn't be gatekeeping.
We don't need this hive mind.
Exactly. Like,
So
everyone has a perception of how they like to play a game or what kind of games they play, and no one is better than another person in terms of that. Like, we all just exist to like enjoy ourselves. And this is a hobby. It's not that
online,
serious.
though, it's very easy to turn it off.
You
if
can
you
just
want
turn
to.
it off.
The issue,
Yes.
though, is sometimes we're so tied to it, it's hard to turn it off.
Yes.
Well,
If
we probably should.
it
It's an
becomes like
addiction.
your only or main source
Exactly.
of interaction, then turning it off feels like a really significant loss.
You're cutting
right?
off a limb,
Yes.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of emphasize, like, you should have the local as well as the online. I think that's a good balance of a community.
Yeah.
And even surrounding yourselves, like, of people, like, locally, like friends or family, even if they don't like JRPGs necessarily, if they like games, you could always have a sort of appreciation level of like mutual respect. I think that's also a good way to
Yeah.
build a community around that.
I agree.
Or like if you're into, if you have friends who are like heavy like fantasy readers, like I think they could find a lot of similarities to JRPGs that you like, and you could tell them about the stories that you explore in video game form, and they might be interested in, maybe not to play themselves, but maybe to hear about the story. I think there's a lot of good conversations to have, even outside of necessarily our fandoms, strictly
Yeah.
our fandoms.
And there is like a good overlap between people who really love like stories or like books.
I think
and
so.
Playing games as well, whether it's D&D or things like that. So I think there's like a
Yeah, or
especially if
people
you're
in the
into
board
fantasy.
game community, like they think of
Board games,
strategy, like turn-based, basically, and a lot of cases are like board games are like.
Yeah,
So
it's like it's similar in concept.
very similar.
Yeah, but I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, yeah, those
How
are
you
our
guys feel?
thoughts. Those are our thoughts on
Yeah.
the stigma around video games, how it's changed. Let us know
Improving?
yours.
But also maybe not so improving.
Yeah,
In some-
it's like when
I
we
think it ebbs and flows.
when we finish fixing one part of it, another
Yeah.
part breaks. So then we have to
it
fix
pops up.
that. Yeah, whack-a-mole over here. But yeah,
That's basically-
what out of curiosity, what are you guys playing lately? What are you playing?
Oh,
What games are you playing?
I'm trying to finish this bad boy up. I'm very close. I
Ah,
know
yeah.
it's sealed,
Ooh,
but I
yeah.
have the collector's edition for Trails Beyond the Horizon. So I've been trying to wrap that up off stream, but on stream I've been playing Psychonauts 2 and Final Fantasy X.
I saw you started that.
I did. For
Yes.
Psychonauts is okay. If this is not a JRPG, obviously there are RPG elements where you build up things, but for those unaware of Psychonauts, because I've had plenty of people in my stream be like, "I never heard of Psychonauts. What is this?" And
Okay.
I would explain it. So this was one of my favorite childhood games growing up. And it's a 3D platformer, but it's very story based. Like, I think that's what I gravitated so much towards it compared to other, 3D platformer games that are more like mechanical based and level based. I really like the story of how all the characters and what, the main characters kind of set out to do with his psychic powers. And I adored the first game. And then I haven't played like the sequel came out a couple years ago, but I've been savoring it and like saving it. Like I want to play you, and I finally am. And I think it's even better than the first game. I'm really enjoying it.
Oh, good. Because I was going to ask you, I'm like, how do you feel like since you're such a fan of the first one, and how's the second one? Because I haven't played the second one yet. I loved the first one. I haven't played it in years, so I want to go back and
okay.
replay
You don't
the
have
first
like
one.
there are some like I highly recommend anyone who's never played the first game, play that one before there's an HD remaster, before the sequel, because they have so many cool callbacks and they talk about characters. And for me, after having a refresh of playing the HD remaster of the first game last summer, like it's been really cool just to play the sequel again and get those callbacks. It's kind of like Trails, like
Yeah.
and it's a fun game and it's very accessible. You could get it like 99 cents on sale very easily.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah.
It's not expensive, but on most platforms, just no Nintendo. Like you play it on PS4, Xbox, PC. But it's basically taken Psychonauts 1, but expanded the world so much more. It's awesome.
That's
And
amazing.
the controls are better. So
And Psychonauts was the first one you streamed, right? Like the first one?
it was my first ever stream game. Yes, I'm
Yeah,
going full
yeah.
circle.
Exactly.
And-
Coming back.
Yeah, for the new year.
Pretty great.
How are you liking Final Fantasy X? I know that was one you didn't connect
That's
with
true.
back in the day. Are Are your feelings different about it now, or?
They are. I think I had to be a little bit more patient because I think when I tried it a couple times back in the day, I didn't get very far. So I was just felt like I was like not doing much, and there wasn't much going on in terms of like combat and stuff. But yeah, it's been fun. I'm nearing the end. I want to say I just saw the iconic scene where they're in the wooded area underwater.
Oh yeah.
That one. I don't want for anyone who has not played that game. I think you guys got enough knowing where I'm at.
No, I know. Yeah.
So I just saw that scene. I'm playing more Tuesday.
Cool.
Or when this comes out, also Wednesday.
That's exciting.
But yeah, it's very exciting. And I'll have another Final Fantasy that's finally marked off. I need to catch up. But I like it a lot.
Yeah, they made a lot of those stinking things, didn't they?
They did.
Yeah.
But I'm honestly pretty impressed. I feel like it holds up pretty well, even though I'm playing the weird, HD remaster on PC.
Plastic face, yeah.
The weird face, the very smoothed over faces. But it's still fun. Like, I was surprised everything's like basically voice acted, like even the NPCs.
Yeah.
It was a
and
huge
they say
thing
different
back
things.
in the day.
Yeah, when you go back and talk to them. And the combat, there's a lot of variety, and honestly, I feel like I'm kind of cheesing it with all the summons, but it's still fun.
Yeah.
Hey, they put it in the game. I think it's fair.
It's a mechanic, so you can utilize it how you want. Exactly.
What are you guys playing?
How about you, Dala?
Well, after Trails Beyond the Horizon, I had a moment of like a day or so where I just needed to decompress, so I didn't play anything. But then I just jumped back into Octopath Traveler 0.
Nice.
So I am about now probably about 16, I think was it? Maybe about 17 hours in.
Okay.
Because I was before I stopped, I was about 8 hours into the game. And then I got like sidetracked by Trails Beyond the Horizon and everything else.
So many games.
And everything else. So I came back to this one because I'm like, all right, I don't have anything else to play that I need to play right now. And I really enjoyed the amount that I did play. And I mean, it's everyone keeps talking it up and saying how great of a game it is, and the story is very amazing. And I agree. Like so far, I'm loving every moment of it. I think I'm more into it than I've been for like even to Octopath Traveler 1 and 2. I like those games, but I feel like with this one, something
the pacing's
about how
good, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is.
like the pacing is like much more like
surprisingly
quicker,
for what roots of a mobile game. Very good pacing.
Exactly. For what this game is going to be, like an 80 to 90 hour experience for most people, from what I hear. Like the fact
100.
that it feels like zippy, like you're zipping through these like plot points. I'm just like, how much is in this game?
Yeah.
Like
it's so
narrative-wise.
twists and turns.
It's mostly plot. Like there's
which
that
is
much.
wild. Like for how fast I'm getting through like the initial like plot points for each of like the side stories that you're going through. I'm like, this is like they're speeding through these, and I'm like,
you're
how are
watching
they
a
going to do
drama
this?
unfold, right?
Yes.
So many twists and turns. It's crazy.
Yeah, so I'm ready for this emotional roller coaster of a game, and I'm excited to talk about it more as I play it.
Sweet.
But yeah, that's me. How about you, Brandy?
I am playing Digital Monsters Story, Time Stranger.
Time Stranger.
I honestly, I love it so far. I like 8 hours into it, maybe. Like the fact that your character has different animations for walking up and down stairs, that like elevates it a full letter grade automatically in my book. I hate when your characters are just continuing their normal stride up and down the stairs. Just animate it. Just animate it. But that's a silly thing, but I actually do mean it. Like I'm saying it in a jokey way, but I do mean it very sincerely. I love that. But yeah, just like the combat is very like fast, and the world is interesting. I like that it has a little bit more of an edge to it than I guess I remember Digimon having. I watched the cartoon on Fox. It was on Fox,
the original.
I think. The original Digimon show back in the day.
Yep.
For some reason, like I didn't know that Digimon was what were games. I didn't know that it was a thing outside of the cartoon. I just knew it as the cartoon.
How much of that anime did you watch? Because it gets hard, heavy, and there's death. It gets really sad.
Yeah, I can't imagine that I watched all that much of it. Like in the grand scheme of things, but there was a good year, 18 months or so where I watched it like every Saturday morning.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, so far loving it. The performances are great. The music is good. It's a beautiful game too. Like,
isn't it?
Beautiful
And you get
game.
to talk to your mons. Like they have so much personality. I love it.
I love that's the thing I was explaining to Jen the other day. I was just like, it's like similar to Pokemon, but like the monsters talk. Like they have
They're interesting.
They have personality.
They like have personalities and quirks and stuff.
Yeah.
And you know, I like the characters so far in the game, like the major characters.
That's good.
The Inori and Aegiomon, I think is his name.
Yes.
And Minervamon. They're fun.
Yeah.
And
Talk about twists and turns, though.
It's gonna get
in for a roller coaster ride too.
Yeah, I've already been surprised. Like we had all played the first couple hours at PAX West last year. So I was obviously familiar with that, but right after that, it took some turns that I was not anticipating. So it's already been surprising me quite a bit, and I'm not all that far into it. Like I said, like 8 hours or so. I had to kind of put it on pause. I'm playing another game for review that I'm trying to make my way through as quickly as I can. But we have until March. For the spoiler cast for Digimon anyway. So I've got time.
You got some time.
Get some time.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically what I've been up to lately. I've also kind of started downsizing my collection.
I saw you posted eBay links, on Twitter.
Wow.
Yeah, what I did was I did the thing you recommended, Emily, where I took everything off the shelf and kind of looked at everything, went through it, and was like, okay, I know for sure, no matter what, I'm keeping these games. And then the ones that I wasn't like, I'm for sure keeping them, I made a list of them all. I put them all on a spreadsheet. And I was like, okay, I put them back on the shelf because I want the game room to look tidy, But I had that list of games where I was like, these are the ones I went through and was like, I don't necessarily need to keep these. Some of it is just like to deal with financial necessities. It's, I can't necessarily ignore those, right? Being a grown-up.
For sure, especially nowadays.
I mean, the economy, right?
I feel you on that.
Yeah.
In this economy?
So there's that whole side of it. But also it's like, it is relieving to offload some of these things, especially the ones that I've decided where I'm like, I'm not going to play this again. I'm fine.
You're not attached to it. Yeah.
Yeah. So being able to kind of cut the strings a little bit and hone my collecting more, even more than I already have.
More possibilities of things to add to the collection too.
Yeah.
Once you trim it down a bit, just refine it more.
Yeah. And I told myself that if I feel in the future I made a terrible mistake by selling whatever game and I really want to play it
again,
I can pick it up again
or wait for a master.
If I play it right away. If I'm like, man, I wish I hadn't sold whatever this game is, I can buy it, but then I need to pop that in the system as soon as I get it.
Sucker in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
that's a good mentality, I think.
Yeah.
I feel
especially if you're going to make a big purchase for a game, it has to be something you'll do something immediately.
I really want to. Yeah. If I really want to play it, I will do it. And then I can resell it if I'm, if it's a big purchase, maybe I want to make some of that money back.
I don't like this actually.
If I hate it, right? If I'm like, oh, I was right to sell that in the first place. Then I can resell it and that's fine. So yeah, so I feel pretty good about it. I've sold a bunch.
It's a healthy approach, I think.
Over the last several days. Curating it, trimming it down. You gotta trim off the leaves to make sure it grows the right way.
Foliage,
exactly. I'm right there with you. I'm also working on selling.
Yeah, you've started that process, right?
Yeah, I've been kind of sorting through my stuff and seeing what I don't need also as well. Yeah. So I have a stack of things that I'm going to throw up on eBay.
And then, I will say it's probably becoming a buyer's market soon, but sell when you can.
Yeah, exactly. That's true.
That's the nice thing about putting stuff up on eBay. It's like I don't need to sell any of this stuff urgently.
Yeah.
Like I can price it the way I want to price it and let it be. So
exactly.
I have a stack of games myself I should list. I've been procrastinating.
Anyway, thank you all for
Yes.
joining us for yet another episode of JRPG Pursuit. We really appreciate you for listening, for commenting, for liking and sharing and all that good stuff. If you are a member, thanks especially to you for helping us to make the show happen. We really, really appreciate you all. If you are interested in becoming a member, sign up. It's great. Get access to the Discord. You get the after show every week. And then the Pursuer Plus members get their bonus Q&A episode monthly that we do live and then post the VOD of afterwards. So lots of additional content for you.
And they get to choose our quarterly spoiler cast.
And they choose the spoiler cast.
Like
so this quarter is Digimon Time Stranger.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, hope you all are having a great week, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Take care, everyone.
Ciao.
Bye.
Bye.